Bienvenidos a esta nueva entrega de Vamos a lo Seguro. Hoy me siento sumamente contenta, honrada, feliz de recibir en nuestros estudios a Ari Despian. Ella es la vicepresidenta de ventas de uno de nuestros FMO New Health Partner, a quien quiero darte cordialmente la bienvenida. Será un programa sumamente especial porque lo vamos a hacer en inglés, en español, para que fluya y para que toda nuestra audiencia pueda comprender, entender y disfrutar de todo el conocimiento que vamos a compartir. Bienvenida, Ari.
Gracias, Susan, a ti y al equipo de HealthBond por tenernos a mí y a New Health Partners. Estoy muy agradecida de estar aquí con ustedes hoy.
I'm very happy
Thank you so much for
to
having
welcome you here.
Appreciate it.
And so you know our audience, our agents, our agencies, our people from the industry that always look at this podcast. And we always try to bring information that is value to them. And I would like to introduce you. I want for you to introduce yourself, where you came from, how long have you been in the industry, and how did you came to New Health Partners?
Absolutely. So my name is Ari Despian. I'm the VP of Sales for New Health Partners. Actually, this October, I turned 3 years with the company.
Oh, nice.
But, you know, it's always humbling because you're always learning something new. So you're like, have I really already been here 3 years? I actually started nothing to do with insurance. I started in retail management, so really in the sales portion.
Oh, nice.
I used to work for a couple of luxury women's retailers.
Really?
So that's really where I'm able to. Actually, quick funny story. When our HR director recruited me, I was like, do we have to wear all black? Can we have some fun in the fashion in the office? And she said, yes, Ari, no polos. I'm like, great, I'm in. That was, silly me a determining factor. But during in sales, working within retail, that really taught me the importance of leadership, taught me the importance of having great sales strategies and time management and all of those things. Folks that look into retail management, it's like, okay, they're doing clothes and they're mannequins and whatever, right? And it's all fun and games, but there's so much business acumen and KPIs,
right,
and sales strategy that goes into it. So fast forward 3 years later, I found myself with my first baby, and I was like, well, the blackout and the holidays, I was like, I need a better work-life balance. And that's when I was introduced to Tony and the team, and I couldn't, be happier, and I haven't ever looked, back since.
How do you like this industry?
I love it. I love it because not to get so serious, it's a pre-Friday. I came from, my parents were immigrants, and really so am I, right? I was born in Cuba, and I came to the U.S. with my parents and my older sister when I was 5 years old. And I really wish they had more access to care. And I really wish they would have had an agent to tell them, hey, you qualify for insurance, you are able to, these are the options that you have. And if it would have been for agents in their life, perhaps I would have had them today. So their lifespan is, they're no longer with us, ¿verdad? Tan con Diosito. But that's what fuels me in my everyday, right? That sure, we're going to talk about sales today, but it's really the purpose of why we're here, of why
and that is so important
to have longevity of their clients itself. I started as an account manager supporting all agencies under New Health Partners, great partners like Health One Corp, and then slowly but surely we introduced new lines of business, right? So we've got a handful of under our belt. Our biggest core business, it continues to be ACA, and I know that's one of the things that we'll talk a lot about today, and how to build retention. But now my main focus as well is building our newest lines along with our sales directors.
Nice. I'm very humbled to have you and to learn from your experience and from all your knowledge that you have and seeing your energy, your enthusiasm is something that is really, I like. From your experience leading sales teams in the health insurance industry, what do you think are the core principles of successful selling in today's market?
Yeah, I think I would really say the top agencies or agents that I see are successful are the ones that are consistent, right? The ones that are consistent and they don't give up. They try and try again until they find a solution that works for them. And then also the ones that stay informed. this industry is always changing. So you need to have that entrepreneurial mindset.
Right.
You know, when you already quit your 9 to 5 and you become your own business owner and your own entrepreneur, those are one of the core qualities that you have to have. Be informed, stay knowledgeable, what's going on in the industry, what plans do you have available, you know, for your clients, and then just being consistent through that. I also think it's really important to make sure that you're stepping. You could get so blindsided and off track when you are trying to manage a big book of business. But if you focus every customer at a time and put yourself in their shoes of how you want service and care, then that's, I feel like, one of the biggest, you know, purposes for success.
And I agree 100% with you. Many agents are feeling pressure from CMS and updates and compliance adjustment. How can agents stay focused and motivated while adapting to these new changes and regulation? What are you telling them?
Well, I'll share with you. For New Health Partners, since inception, we've already been 6 years. Started 6 years this December. So the holidays will be 6 years since, you know, Tony and his partner, his business partner Claudio Arellano, started New Health Partners and Associated Medical Care. One of the biggest things that, and our business model is divided up in a handful of things, but rarely do we have independent agents. So with that, I mean, you know, how do you stay motivated? I guess the biggest message there is you're not alone. You know, you could join, you don't have to work directly with an FMO or direct to the carrier.
Right.
Work with an agency, work with a large agency like Health One that has the correct infrastructure. Join organizations like NABIB or HAFA, right? Not-for-profits that lobby for agents' rights.
Right.
So, you know, we had the extreme pleasure of being at a conference, the ACA Way, with Renelle Nolan, the president and CEO of HAFA, and Jessica Brooks-Woods, also the CEO of NABIB. And just hearing them on panels, it's like they have all these tools and resources. Available.
Right.
And as an agent, you don't have to do it alone to keep informed, because it's a lot to. If it's a lot for just an FMO or an agency, imagine, you know, the industry between FFM states and state-based exchanges and whatever line you're selling, you need to be able to be a part of organizations.
Of course.
Is what I would highly recommend.
Yes.
Local chapters, whatever you could be a part of to make sure that your voice is heard as well. Right?
And that you are feeding from the right
the right channels.
Yes, the right channel.
I agree 1,000%.
What are some of those effective client retention strategies that you've seen that are working, especially during these times that we have uncertainty changes and
Sure. So one of the biggest things that helps with retention is being able to cross-sell. We know your customer is not going to go anywhere, right? If you have your major medical with them, if they have their major medical with them, with you as the agent, have you talked to them about dental and vision options, right? Have you talked to them about an accident plan? Have you talked to them about, you know, I know when I came in earlier, you guys were like, oh, I didn't know I was expecting, I'm having my baby number 2. One of the first people that I called, even before my family, even before I informed, you know, my upper leadership at NHP, I called my life insurance agent.
Of course.
And I told her, I said, hey, I got baby number 2 in the oven, you know? And she's like, this is what you need. This is how. So it goes to show that I'm like, I need her. She's got me hooked, and she's got a customer for life, right? So I think the importance of being able to cross-sell multiple products, and it goes back to one of the first things we talked about, staying informed with all the CMS changes, all products available,
right?
You know, whether you're selling
any
supplemental products, any life insurance as well, whatever it is, if you're able to be that one-stop shop for your client, then they're with you for life.
Let me tell you a story. Yeah. When I started with Health One Corp and I started recruiting agents and growing, when I was teaching them in training them, I said, whenever you are in front of a customer, you need to tell them you are the shopping mall of the insurance. What happened when you go to a shopping mall? Yeah. You found the shoes, you found the clothing, you found the lingerie, you found everything.
Everything in one.
And then people needs to feel that you could deliver to them and cater to all their needs. If they need car insurance, but maybe you don't do car insurance, but you have a broker that does that you could refer, that you could be a source of, you know, reference.
Yes, I agree. And I think too, you win people over more when you also, of course, you want to be a one-stop shop for everyone because you want to be able to offer everything. But there does come a time that you have to say, you know what? I'm not an expert in this. And I think if you're genuine and vulnerable with your client and say, you know what? I see that you're turning 65 soon, right? And you're creeping up on 65. It's almost Medicare age. I still want to be able to help you, but perhaps, being Medicare or AHIP certified that's not where you're at in your career yet, but I've got a great friend that I want her to take care of you, her or him to take care of you.
Right.
So I think having that honesty with your customer too, it's like, great. She's not, they're not just trying to get a sale. They're not trying to get me to just buy a product. They really have my best interests.
Of course.
Right? If they were the ones that
and that makes the difference.
Absolutely.
People trust you.
Absolutely.
And you treat them with dignity, with respect, with human
that touch.
sense. Yes, that people feel that you are really genuine and helping them and looking for your interest, not their commission.
Not theirs. Exactly. Exactly. That's the biggest thing. And I think people sense that, people sense when you're just trying to make a quick sale, and they sense when you're just trying to add another tally to your book. But if you really sit down and have the time and build a relationship with them. Tony always makes reference when he used to be a writing agent 20 plus years ago that he went to people's birthday parties. He went to their, baptisms, and sometimes even, the funerals, of his clients. So I think that piece helps the retention tremendously, right? And then the referrals. Absolutely. You get a lot more referrals when you're your most authentic self to someone.
Definitely, yes. In your opinion, what separates top performing agents from the rest in this evolving environment?
What separates? I think it would be a matter of going back to what their purpose is. We talked a little bit about that, right? If your purpose was here to be able to give back to your community, right? Serve the greater good, right? Serve the underserved, right? Make sure that people like you and me, panos, at heart, at birth, at whatever, they're insured, and any other demographics, making sure that they remember their purpose. I think that's the biggest thing.
Wow.
That they don't let the numbers or they don't let the outside noise drive them to anything else. I think that's what separates a salesperson from a true insurance expert. I have to tell you, and I keep referencing back the conference, but Jessica Brooks at NABIB said something beautiful. She said, we must not give up and we must keep using our voice for what's right, because we want to be able to have a time that that insurance agents walk into a grocery store, someone over here is a urine agent, and they thank you for your service.
Right.
Just of like if you're an essential worker, because you really are. Right? You really are. You're really changing lives, and you're protecting individuals. So I think when you're able to, someone is able to say, why am I ethically here? Did I start being an insurance agent because I love to give back to my community? Because an insurance agent changed my life, and now I'm doing the same, and I'm paying it forward. Am I doing it because I want a financial freedom? Right? And that's perfectly fine.
Of course.
That's perfectly fine.
It is valid.
I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to be able to get my family, raise them up and put them to a nicer, better standard, a more better quality of life. And if offering insurance does it, then, and that's the force that drives you, why not?
Definitely. Yeah. You know what? I did it because I feel so good whenever I wrote a policy.
Yes.
That I did my homework looking for the plan that best.
Yeah.
Feed the necessity of my clients.
Absolutely.
And I went home happy and satisfied.
Yes.
It's that sense of
fulfillment.
I agree. Oh my God, that what makes me, I believe, feel accomplished.
Yes. I agree.
As an agent. That's what I always tell my agents. Guys, this is an industry that is full of blessings. We have so many blessings in our hands. Yeah. We have so many tools that if we utilize it the way correctly, we could be of a blessing for many families out there.
And I think too, not losing perspective of, we might have, your agent, I might have 100 members in my book of business, right? Or I might have 500 or whatnot. But to that member, you're only one. You're their only one agent, right?
That's
so
correct.
so they don't have anyone else to compare it to. So that's why you have to be your very, very best. That way they stick with you. They stick with you, you know?
Right. Let's talk about technology.
Oh, okay.
With
Yes,
technology
great.
and consumer expectation changing very fast.
Yes.
What new sales techniques and tools should agents be embracing to stay ahead?
I think implementing AI as much as possible.
You think so?
I think so.
At the beginning, I was very like,
I know. And all we know AI is like, ChatGPT, right? But I think implementing AI, obviously we're in an industry that's very heavily regulated.
Right.
So we can't ever, lose that human touch, and we have to do enrollments ourselves and all those things. But I think implement AI in the areas to streamline your inefficiencies. That's my biggest thing. Our friends over at LinkedIn, they said something really powerful in our last meeting with them, which is if you as an agent don't adopt AI is not going to replace you, but the next agent that does adopt it into every day, they're the ones that are going to take your job. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So it was a really, really good moment of realization of like, we need to be able to jump on AI. What is that? Finding any kind of widgets in your browsers and any platforms that you might like, and finding ways that they could help you scale your business. If it is, for example, many of us use Health Sherpa, right? The nation's AD platform for ACA, to download the reports. Plug in an AI tool there that shows you when your next customers are turning 65, who haven't you cross-selled to whatever product. So I think finding ways to add, again, I use the word infrastructure, but how can AI streamline your process, especially when you're a smaller agency starting out?
Right.
And you don't have the means, right, to have an entire departments. Right? How can you use it to really streamline any of the things that you need support with? Additional hands.
No, of course.
And for the most part, it's cost-free, right?
It is.
If you have AI. And to enhance, like even think about the marketing. Never underestimate the power of the marketing. Use AI in there to be able to continue your online presence and whatever digital presence you could have. Use AI to be able to
are you currently using?
Well, we do have, LinkedIn is one of our truest partners with AI. We also have some things in the works through our partners our preferred technology partners over at Next Year. There's so many cool, neat features that has automated the process. That way the agent could do what they do best, is focus on offering their products and their service to meet their clients' needs.
That's great.
So there's a handful of things that, within the portals that we could have access to.
That's amazing. And that's exactly the path that we should be focusing. We went a month ago. We went to the championship series event that Pinnacle hosts.
Oh, nice, great.
They are one of my partners with Health and Corp. And one of the topics that was, expressed and that was presented to us was AI, and we saw that like we are on the right path, the right way,
Exactly.
And the place to be is that. So we are learning, we are implementing, we are putting things into perspective and into place.
And you got to put it into motion. And I think it's nothing to be. The whole word artificial intelligence, it's such a scary undertaking. It's so
could be, but
it could be an intimidating.
Right.
Like, how do I even adopt this? But it's the little ways.
Yes.
It's the little ways that you could plug it in and get more familiar, and as we say, coge la confianza un poquito más, just by introducing it to your processes, to your everyday. Whenever you're stuck at a problem, right? When you say, I just keep running into the same issue, whether it's commission, whether it's whatever it is, right? Whatever piece it is, whether it's marketing and getting communication out to my consumers, how can I implement AI to help me with this? And if the answer is easy to you, great, perfect, you've got it, and you could plug it in. And if it's something you're not ready for yet, it's still healthy to be thinking about how you could introduce it later on, at least acknowledging it.
Right. What advice would you give the agents who feels discouraged by the constant changes in the market? How can they turn challenges into opportunities during this enrollment season?
Yeah, it's funny that you see that. It's really ironic that you rephrase this question like this, because that's what we're saying on New Health Partners all the time. how do you turn a challenge into an opportunity?
Right.
Or better yet, how do you not even look at it as an obstacle or a challenge? You really say, this is the opportunity that we have at hand to capitalize even more. We know this year is going to be the year of cleanup, right?
Oh my God.
God, cleanup. Absolutely. Leadership at Oscar, healthcare at Centene and Better is saying things like this. This is the year that's going to be cleaned up. They're estimating that there's 4 million members that are ghost enrollments, ghost account, right? People that are not really
that they don't exist.
It's fraudulent accounts. So we're hoping that with all of these changes, and we've been very vocal, right, with the things that are working and not working to CMS, being in large agency corporations, right? But making sure that they're able to remember, use your voice, and to be able to act on anything that the CMS is going through, right? I also think remembering. So how do we turn it into an opportunity? Right now, there's 68 million Hispanics in the whole United States. We're a humongous melting pot, right?
Right.
You can't get rid of us. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. You find us not only
it is impossible.
Not only in Florida, not only in Texas. We're all throughout the map in Midwest states. So really, I think for agents, it's really important to be able to hunker in to those pockets of their people, of their community, right? There's 68 million Hispanos throughout the U.S., but there's 10 million of them, 10.1 to be exact, that qualify for ACA coverage, right? So how do you tap into that? Well, I'll tell you, you're not going to get too far if you only sell in FFM states.
Right.
I love whenever I visit your office and you've got that gorgeous map with all the states that Health One is in. You have to be able to branch out to state-based exchanges.
Of course.
And to additional states. So I think, when you're out and about, people are on their vacation, agents are on their vacations, different business meetings, attending different conferences and expositions. How are they putting their name out there and planting those little seeds and planting their feet in new states? I think that's really important. That way they see, you know what? It might be tough right now it might be tough growing my book, but I am starting to diversify my book a little bit more, and I'm seeing the opportunities by just looking at a broad level how much more I can also gain and help as well.
Right. How do you see the future
of ACA?
Yes.
We see it's still healthy. We see it's still healthy. There's so many Americans and so many individuals that are still uninsured. So that's really where it comes into our job to be able to find them, inform them, give them the knowledge. It goes back for me, and I can't help but to just think of that story in the back of my head of what fuels me every day, of my parents. If an agent would have said, hey, I found you, and this is what you qualify for, right? Or, hey, you know what? Fine. Right now you can't qualify. You don't qualify for this because you have an immigratory status, right? You don't have a social.
Right.
No problem. Let's get you into a short-term medical.
Right.
Let's get you into a discount plan. Whatever it might be, to just have someone, the reoccurring model. Right now, we know premiums are going to get higher. Right. There's been a lot of buzz and conversation of what's going to happen to agent commissions. That's still to be discussed.
Of course.
But it won't take away from the fact that you could still get someone insured. That's the biggest thing, that some insurance or some coverage is better than having none, right? Because we know that the average debt within the United States is astronomical. So I think if you tell someone, listen, this premium might be pricey, but you're going to pay a whole lot more, te va a salir más caro if you don't have it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Ari, thank you so much for your time, for all your energy, your passion into the industry, your guidance to the agents, the agencies.
Likewise.
I know it's a lot going on this year, but I know that
we'll get through it together like we always do.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Susan. Appreciate it. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.